Analog horror is a horror fiction genre where Microsoft Sam warns you to stay indoors at all times, while spooky black and white faces with googly eyes loudly beep at you and eat your bones or something. Sponsored by VCR OSD Mono from dafone.com. Hey, don't look at me, that's what Wikipedia says. Okay, fine, let's be serious for a moment. Analog horror is amazing and a fascinating evolution of the found footage and creepypasta subgenres. And it's truly incredible how many impressive and creative projects have been made by talented independent artists. One would say too many such projects are floating around, leading to the genre's oversaturation. While I believe that true artistic vision can never be tiresome, I will admit that there are way too many analog horror series out there, which can lead to some of them fading into obscurity, unappreciated. One of them is ZETACODINE, an analog horror series about a deadly drug epidemic going out of control, leading to nationwide lockdowns and military intervention. Of course, other subplots are also going on in the background, like pharmaceutical conspiracies, various other investigations, and just good old plain survival. It's an interesting premise, and the series is short and sweet without overstaying its welcome. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the deep dive into ZETACODINE. The series begins with an episode named Public Service Announcement. This is actually the remastered version of this episode, published after the series finale. Most graphics have been enhanced, but the content remains unchanged. The video begins with a warning about a new drug circulating throughout town named ZETACODINE, or Z for short. Z is highly addictive and causes a variety of damaging side effects, like dead eyes, pale skin, rotting wounds, sores, boils, missing teeth, and an overall sickly appearance. Prolonged consumption can turn the user into a zombie basically, causing intense delirium and unpredictable bouts of extreme aggression. If someone is addicted to Z, it's over for them pretty much. They are beyond saving and they should not be interacted with. The second half of the video is an emergency broadcast, informing everyone that due to the ongoing drug epidemic, a citywide lockdown has been placed, with the army clearing the streets from the ZETACODINE users. People must stock up on supplies, secure all exits, and stay indoors at all times, no matter what. Right off the bat, it looks like the situation is already out of control, with people being confined in their homes and the military intervening to sort things out. However, we all know that this is not going to be that easy to fix. ZETACODINE is a drug far more dangerous than we can possibly imagine. The next episode, named Broadcast, is a retread of the first episode's second half. It's an emergency broadcast warning citizens to not go outside due to the lockdown and the danger the ZETACODINE users pose. Violators will be exterminated along with the rest of the users. It is unclear when the lockdown will be over. The government doesn't even try to detain the ZETACODINE users, opting instead for mass eradication by the military. Whether the epidemic has gone so out of control there is no other solution, or the government is corrupt beyond belief, hasn't been completely established yet. The third episode shines a ray of hope amidst all the chaos. It's a short advert for a new nasal spray that provides protection from ZETACODINE addiction and purifies someone getting bitten by a ZETACODINE user from any potential parasites. There are some caveats though. Naturally, you can only use the medicine within 2 hours of the initial bite. After that, it's too late. ZETAWAY does not work on people already addicted to the drug. Instead, due to their heightened tolerance, it will kill them. There are a few creepy shots throughout the commercial, but they're too blurry to make out. Other than that, there is not much else to this episode. It seems that the side effects of ZETACODINE addiction can now spread through physical contact. ZETACODINE users have also become so violent they mindlessly attack other people foolish enough to leave their homes. Will ZETAWAY provide a way to resolve this epidemic? I guess we'll find out. Ground Zero is an episode that shows us how dire the circumstances have become. We start the video with a soldier requesting for backup. The audio file is damaged and it's very hard to hear what's being said. Here is a transcript of the transmission. Station Delta to HQ. We are at Ground Zero of the ZETACODINE epidemic. Requesting backup. I repeat, we need backup. We have 12 men down. Base has been overcome by biters. After that, the sound of gunfire and screams can be heard for a few seconds before we cut off to some found aerial and ground footage. ZETACODINE users, nicknamed biters, have completely overrun the city, hunting down anyone who still has their sanity intact. Despite having reverted to a primal state devoid of any logic and feeling, biters still maintain a hive mind that guides them into spreading their disease to uninfected people. As if that's not enough, they have become strong enough to overpower even the military, with casualties piling up by the minute. If something drastic doesn't happen soon, the people may be beyond saving. We move on to a different subplot in the Z Epidemic with an episode named The Jack Holiday Investigation. Jack Holiday is a freelance journalist committed to uncovering the origin of the epidemic, its impact, and the undisclosed events happening behind the scenes, unreported by the media. Viewing his findings, we learn that ZETACODINE is taken via injection into the gums, causing tooth decay and leaving tooth residue that can enter a person's system if they are bitten by a user of the drug. Combined with the city's high poverty, ZETACODINE spread like wildfire, filling hospitals with victims in only 2 weeks. Not even ZETAWAY could help slow down the effects of the spread, leaving lockdown and extermination as the only solutions. How did such a drug manage to spread so fast though, with such devastating results? Jack Holiday believes the CDA is behind the epidemic. Before everything started, a shipment of xylazine was lost near the city by the CDA. Xylazine is the main component of ZETACODINE, among other undisclosed chemicals. It's actually a common drug used for sedation and anesthesia in animals such as horses and cattle. Since the early 2000s though, it has become a popular drug in the US, drawing some parallels to the ZETACODINE situation. In any case, the CEO of CDA, David Lockhart, refuses to comment on the mishap. The video ends with Jack saying he will break the lockdown to investigate further and find the truth behind all of it. His final message is this: if you are viewing this tape, I'm either no longer alive or I was right. Either outcome is unpleasant, but let's hope things work out in the end. The next episode in the series is named Share, and it starts with a classic anti-drug commercial from the 80s. This is your brain on drugs, which gets suddenly cut off. After that, we are treated to a series of photos showcasing the progression of the ZETACODINE user's addiction. The first stage is the ZETACODINE free one, where you are just a normal person. In stage 2, you become a stumbler with increased aggression, low coordination, confusion, and delirium. In stage 3, you become a biter, a hollow husk of a human being with rotting tissue, loss of mind, and the primal urge to kill and hunt for food. Finally, in stage 4, you are simply forgotten. The disturbing photos and MRI scans paint a grim picture. ZETACODINE is a killer and it must be stopped before everyone is lost. Next up, we have the Jack Holiday tapes, the continuation of the reporter's investigation regarding the deadly epidemic. Jack has broken lockdown and is now outside, and things are much more different than expected. There is no one outside but the victims of ZETACODINE's users. Even the military is gone, leaving everyone to fend off for themselves. Wandering around the empty streets with barely any supplies and all alone, Jack finds some CDA containers and is convinced they are behind everything. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any proof yet to support his claims. Even though biters are everywhere, Jack decides to leave his house yet again to prove once and for all that the CDA is behind this plague. Things take a dark turn when he gets chased down by one of them and thrown into the ground. He manages to escape, but it's unclear if he's beaten. The footage ends abruptly, leaving us to guess whether Jack has survived. It seems like the city has been abandoned to its fate, and no one dares to take action. Hopefully, Jack manages to unmask the conspiracy behind the ZETACODINE epidemic. The next episode, simply titled Found Footage, is a collection of recordings found on the body of a dead US Army soldier. In the video, we see shots of biters eating people, a soldier running away, and empty city streets, devoid of any life. The video ends with an aerial shot of a lone soldier trying to fend off the hordes of biters coming for him. Ultimately, he fails, and the biters surround him, pin him down, and tear his body apart, in an attempt to satisfy their hunger. With the army abandoning the city and the threat of ZETACODINE becoming increasingly larger, it seems like nothing can be done to save whoever is still alive. Is everything truly lost? Home Video, the 9th episode of this series, is the longest one yet, putting us into the perspective of a family trying to get by amidst all the chaos. As their supplies dwindle and the lockdown continues, tensions are running high. Arguments start erupting, with Josh slowly losing his mind, recording everything and staying up to protect his family. He decides to go outside to get more food since they're almost out, even though his wife begs him not to do so, still hoping the situation will get better. Outside, Josh discovers the sad reality of their predicament. The military is gone and the streets are empty. No one is coming to save them. However, that also means that the city blockades are gone and they can leave the city. Reaching the city limits, Josh and his family can almost taste freedom until their car stalls and they're left stranded in the middle of the night. Someone slowly approaches them without saying a word. Maybe they're here to help fix their car? Unfortunately, it's not the case. The video ends with Josh getting beaten, ZETACODINE users surrounding the car, and the footage getting cut off with the rest of the family screaming in agony. A sad fate that has befallen many more families throughout this affair, and the worst is yet to come. Approaching the end of the series, we have Jack Holliday's findings, a video detailing his latest discoveries regarding the ZETACODINE epidemic. Jack explores inside an abandoned house a local street gang used as their base of operations, finding dead bodies and something that will prove his suspicions right: xylazine pills by the CDA. It seems that the pills were brought into the city and used to create ZETACODINE. For what purpose though? Before Jack can reveal any more information, we hear the sound of breaking glass in the distance. Someone has broken into his house. The video ends abruptly and we are once again left wondering about Jack's fate. Did he manage to fend off the intruder? Will he be able to show the world the CDA's true intentions? Only 2 more episodes remaining. The penultimate episode, named CDA Training Tape, takes things in a completely different direction. It's a training video basically, welcoming employees to the CDA, letting them know of the various faculties available, and answering some frequently asked questions. So, what is the CDA? It's the Center of Drug Administration, responsible for the handling of narcotics. What about its purpose? Before we get a proper answer, an image flashes for a second with a message demolish the lower class, making the administration's true intentions clear, even though the tape says they ensure the substances are safely shipped while also producing some medicine on their own. What is an employee's job at the CDA? Well, office work mostly, filing and sharing data, organizing files, and answering phone calls. Another message flashes for a second, mentioning what an employee should never do during a phone call. Never mention ZETACODINE. At least the work environment seems fairly standard, with cubicles, a break room, and a conference area. There's also Meeting Room B. Employees must never enter Meeting Room B. Why? The tape doesn't mention a reason, making the elusive room all the more terrifying. The training tape ends, but it's not the end of the video. We hear a conversation between a member of the CDA and David Lockhart, the CEO of the administration. The first case of ZETACODINE has been reported outside the city. The implications are devastating, as the epidemic will become nationwide, even worldwide at this rate. Nothing can be done to stop it, except for one thing: Plan C. Although the details are not disclosed, the plan is horrifying, causing both the CEO and the CDA member to hesitate before proceeding. But there is no other way. The plan must be executed. We have reached the series finale, and let me tell you, it's a very bleak ending. The video begins with a news broadcast informing us of Jack Holliday's suicide. His real name was John Hollingsworth, and we all know it wasn't suicide. But that doesn't matter anyway, since the ZETACODINE pandemic is now nationwide, and the hospitals are unable to handle the situation, since all of their workers are now on strike. The news is suddenly interrupted by an emergency broadcast. The worst message imaginable is shown on screen. Multiple nuclear strikes have been detected across the continental United States. Remain calm and find shelter. People can be heard screaming in the background as the biters break through the building, searching for human flesh. And then silence. An explosion lights the city ablaze. A mushroom cloud quickly emerges, and the blast reaches the camera, recording everything. The signal is lost, and the video ends. It's all over. And that was the ZETACODINE analog horror series. Although the concept of zombies is well known and quite overused in horror fiction, I think this series managed to approach it uniquely, building up the world and its lore with each episode. It's not just a horror story, it's a conspiracy investigation, a survival thriller, a lot is going on, even though the episodes are quite short. The over-reliance on stock footage, AI voice acting, and videos from other sources, such as old 80s commercials and that viral ad for Stalker, may turn off some people, which is a shame because the live-action segments were pretty interesting and helped give the series a more realistic and dramatic tone. To be fair, I don't have a problem with AI voice acting if it's for stuff that doesn't need any emotion, such as broadcasts or automated messages. But you gotta use real people if you want expressive performances. You don't even need professionals, just somewhat realistic voice acting from anyone will do. In any case, it was an engaging horror series, a bit too short, but without any filler or boring segments. It definitely deserves more recognition, and I hope we get to see more from its creator. And that's all I had to say about the ZETACODINE analog horror series. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stuff. You know how it goes. You can also support me on Patreon or become a channel member for early access to my videos and other perks. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.